There we go. We're live. Hooray!
Yay.
All right. Hi, everyone. If you're unaware of who I am, hi, this is my channel. My name's Kathy, and we're here today to do some reading sprints for the Rent Readathon, which is ending at the end of the month. But you can also read whatever you want. You don't have to be reading things for this, or you can be doing whatever you want during this as well. That's totally fine. I will let my co-host tell you about themselves.
Yeah, hi. I'm Bek. I'm from the channel Mooney Reads by Starlight. Yeah, I don't know what else I need to say, but hello, I'm ready to read.
Yay, perfect. And then you've got cats, so they're gonna possibly be in the background, which is always the most fun part about having people with pets on live streams.
Yeah, one of them is, I think,
What are
probably
you
going to.
reading?
I am going to be reading, well, depending on how well my brain starts up when I start to read, hopefully I'll be reading All About Love by Bell Hooks. And if I don't end up feeling the physical reading the whole time, I'll probably listen to Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson.
Nice. Yeah, I also listened to that one earlier this month, so hooray! Overlap in our TBRs is fun. I like it, especially because we didn't talk to each other about what are you gonna pick. So
Yeah,
that's
that is cool.
I am just about to pick up To the Friend Who Did Not Save My Life, which is translated from French. It is a novel written in journal format, I believe. I haven't started it yet. I just kind of skimmed through the foreword and then went, oh, you're talking about the plot. I need to skip that. 'Cause I don't know anything about the plot, besides the fact that the main character and also possibly, I think, the author find out that they are HIV positive, and then it's about that experience. So I think that this was written just after the author found out that he was positive. Or I could just be thinking about the character himself. I honestly don't know. But I'm excited to read it because Jen, the librarian, who has a channel on YouTube, started up doing an LGBTQ in translation event and got us to vote on a couple of different books for the first book. And this isn't the one that won, but this is the one that I could find. So I was like, well, I'm still going to read it. It's fine. So yeah, it came in the mail recently, and I'm excited to get to it.
Very cool.
Cool. Do you want to do 25-minute chunks again? Sprints, I guess. Perfect. All right. Well, I will put on the little banner and put on my clock and try not to be terrifying when time is up. And mute myself so you don't have to listen to me drinking my iced coffee beverage. All right. See you in a little bit.
All right.
Hello, that is time.
Right.
How was your reading?
Pretty good so far. I got through the chapter on self-love, I think, which was pretty good. I think it could have used more nuance, but it was only a chapter, and the majority of the book before this was looking at like stuff during childhood, and I thought that that was very good. So, yeah.
Cool. I had already skipped through the foreword, and then I had to skip the introduction because I don't understand why people do forewords or whatever to books, but then like talk about the plot of the book in that. It's like, no, I wanna read the thing and then maybe know somebody else's thoughts on it. So I had to skip through that. But so far I'm like 8 chapters in because they're very short. Some of them are only a page, and I know this is fiction, but it's also apparently autobiographical fiction, which is always a little bit weird. So, like, I may never really know the circumstances of this man's life, besides what I've now learned from the introduction, because it's like it starts out being like his mission was to be the first person to not die of this, and spoiler alert, he did. And I'm like, well, cool, great, but like, could you not? Like, I could have figured that out afterwards. We also had a little bit of a talk in the chat about books set in Scotland and Ireland, and I was just like, yes, I will. I will read anything set in those places because yes, I've lived in both of them and they're lovely. And I was just wondering if you traveled anywhere or if there's books set in certain places that you're like, yes, I need to read it because it's set there.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I haven't traveled a whole lot, just because it's far or expensive to travel like out of country. I've
Yeah.
traveled technically, if America wasn't like as huge as it is, like I have traveled a fair amount away. I'm in Tennessee. I've gone to Arizona and I've gone to California, which are probably the furthest away that I've been. Um, but so far as setting goes, I don't think I have like big settings like that necessarily. Although, watch me think about it later and
Yeah.
become something obvious.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I'll
I don't
just get
think.
a message at 3 o'clock in the morning being like, oh, it was this place. I'll be
Right,
like,
right.
excellent.
Um, I know that there's like the closest thing to that I could think is that there are certain places that I want to like learn more about in different ways.
Hmm.
Like with the nonfiction stuff that I'm doing, like I've been reading a lot on New York because I've been doing a bit of a deep dive into the AIDS epidemic and in the United States, and a lot of stuff is over there. Same thing with like the Californian coast or the California, like San Francisco and LA. There's a lot of stuff within gay history.
Yep.
But I'm interested to learn about stuff that's gone on in like the South and Appalachia.
Mhm.
Just because I'm like from the South and there's actually a lot of stuff that's gone on. It's just not as widely talked about. So
Cool. Thank you for answering my very impromptu on the spot question. Cool. Are we good with another 25-minute round? All
mhm.
right. Sounds
Yeah,
good to me. Again, I'll try not to scare you when I come back. All
good
right.
stuff.
See you in a bit. Hello. You look so comfy. I'm sorry.
Good stuff.
How was your reading?
Pretty good so far. I read the chapter on like divine love, so talking about spirituality a little bit, and then she's moved into talking about living by a love ethic. Which is interesting. Even it's very good. I think small bones to pick with it, and part of it might be just the nuance that you can't really go into in something like this because it's very like not like theory heavy or anything. It's really accessible, and there are smaller things that I would pick apart, but it's good overall. It's interesting. I had to stop and look though because at some point she makes a statement, something like it's in passing and doesn't really have to do with the main thing of what she's saying, but she talks about the United States as one of the most democratic countries, and I was like, I don't think that's accurate. And I looked up to see what the position was. Number 26, not even in the top 10. So that's not exactly accurate at this point, but it is good so far.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's fun when you find things in books and you're like, wait a second, I don't think you're right. let me go check, and then suddenly you're on TikTok or something. Like it happens to all of us. As for me, spending a lot of time right now talking about another writer friend of his who may or may not have been a real person. I don't know, because I'm going to look everybody up at the end. And kind of what I found interesting was there's a section where the writer friend was sick and he went to the doctor, but like didn't let the doctor really tell him what was wrong with him. Just kind of was like, how long do I have, basically? And then like only one person in his life actually knew what was wrong with him, type of thing, which I thought was a choice. Also, this book is a little bit difficult to follow at times because I thought I wrote run-on sentences. I pale in comparison to this book. Like, my goodness. Like, there's this, I think it was chapter 2, and I think there's, is this all one sentence? It might just all be one sentence. Oh, no. Oh. Yeah, it's all one sentence. Like, it's a 2-page chapter and it's all one sentence because it's just comma, comma, comma. And I'm just like, I forgot where we were and what the point of this was. What is happening? Oh no, it's 2 sentences. Pardon me. But yeah, and I thought maybe that would just happen occasionally, but it's happening more often than not, which makes my mind wander because I have lost the plot of what is supposed to be happening in sentences. So, like we actually went like probably a minute over because I was like, my alarm went off and I was like, no, gotta get to the end of the sentence. Don't know where it is though. Gonna get there eventually. And it was like, you know, this much text of the page that I had to get through before I'm like, oh, a period. Good. I can close the book. So there is that. I'm looking forward to getting more in it and then figuring out kind of going back to the beginning and reading the foreword and the introduction and figuring out more about his life and all of that type of stuff. But right now it's a little bit difficult, but I'll get through, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, yeah, we had some people join us a little later and we're reading other things that sounded good. We already talked about things set in Scotland and such. Somebody is reading Beloved by Toni Morrison. I haven't read any Morrison yet. I know she's one of the authors I need to eventually read, but I haven't gotten there yet, which is fine. And
I haven't read Beloved, but Sula was really good.
Okay, yeah. I've heard like all of her stuff is good. Just pick one and read it. I'm like, okay, eventually I will do that, but it's not taught up here, so there's that. Also, somebody's reading These Silent Woods, which I haven't heard of yet, but I want to look it up because I'm like, is it a creepy book? It sounds like it should be a creepy book, and I want it. So yeah, there's that. For Anne, who asked what we're reading, I definitely didn't say the name of the book. It's called To the Friend Who Did Not Save My Life, which is a semi-autobiographical work of fiction about somebody who is HIV positive in France in the 80s. Or at least he's from France. It's written in French and translated to English. He's currently living in Rome, though, because he just kind of ran away from his situation. So there's that. It also just made me really sad that like we can't really just run away to other countries and like live in them like you can in Europe. Oh well. We have other provinces, or I have other provinces, so I could just do that. But it seems less interesting because it's not like a whole different culture. Unless I go to Quebec, I suppose. Yeah, cool. Well, that was good. Yeah, do you have any final thoughts before we end off our last live reading sprints of the Rent Readathon?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have very much to say. Been having a good time and look forward to seeing people's wrap-ups and stuff. So
yeah, that should definitely be fun because like we came up with prompts that are very open-ended. So it's just like whatever you want to read, you can fit it into a prompt. I guarantee it. There's at least one prompt for any book. So yeah, it'll be really good to see what people picked. And of course, our TBRs will grow exponentially, and that's a problem that is worth having.
A good problem.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will see you soon and see you on the interwebs and all that good type of stuff. And yeah, I'm excited to see what everybody's February wrap up looks like.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you for everyone who joined us. And I hope you finished the books because you, quite a few were like, I'm just about to finish this. I need to finish this. So if you haven't yet, go do that. Bye, friends.